Surprise. Good morning, y'all. It is officially after 7:30 in the morning here in sunny San Diego. It is your boy JR. Good morning to everybody. It is the TSA Hoop Show. Man, I warned y'all. I looked y'all dead in the eye. I told y'all this WNBA Finals is gonna be fireworks, y'all. Oh, it is official. Today's show is titled "The Last and the First" for a reason. We got exactly what I was hoping for. We got game 5, the last game, and the last game 5 for WNBA Finals today. Okay, next season is gonna be 7 games, y'all. So this is the last time you're gonna see it this close. This is the last time you're gonna see it come down to a 2-2 winner take all. I told y'all it's gonna be fireworks. We end with the WNBA season. We get a breath for one day of fresh air. And then we get NBA. And all just, I'm telling you, hoops don't sleep, y'all. Good morning. Welcome to the TSA Hoop Show. Thank you for tuning in. It's your boy JR. And thank you for tuning in and listening in. If you have thus far, you know how we do 7:30 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, just about every Sunday when we can, talking hoops, getting into it, taking your comments, addressing questions out there, anything trending, stuff super important, all of it. We try to get into all of it. And if you're ever invited as a guest on this show, hopefully you can make it. We always invite people from all other platforms outside the sports affiliation because it's a family here and we all love talking ball in a positive and positively positioning manner. Before we get too deep into it, just want to remind everyone that today's Hoop Show has been brought to you by Drafters Fantasy app, where you can draft your favorite fantasy team, play best ball. They now have a promo out for playing your best ball NBA team. Prizes up to $75,000. Don't forget to add the Drafters app to your phone, where if you download and add the code TSA Bet, you can get your deposit matched up to $100. Thank you again to Drafters app and everybody else for tuning in. Just don't forget, when you tune into this video, you come back on YouTube, you watch it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. You know that we appreciate your input, letting us know how we can improve, what we can do to get the information out to y'all, the people. To say how we do it every Sunday. Okay, so we just got to get down to it, man, because you know how we do. We try to crush as much information into y'all as possible so you can get to your week. Let's just break down what happened last week. I mean, it was game 1 for us. It was game 1 for all of us last Sunday when all this dropped. And I told you it was going to be fireworks. I personally didn't think it was going to go 5. I'm glad it did. New York versus Minnesota. We talked a little bit about that. Talked a little bit of NBA preseason, things that we could watch for, things for you guys to watch for. Hopefully, you guys got a couple of those games in to help you with your drafts. We dropped some fantasy knowledge. We got to go adjust the fantasy player ranking. So that way, if you guys are still drafting up until tomorrow or just before tip off on Tuesday, we will get those adjusted for y'all. We dropped the week 1 officially now rankings for y'all. Talked a little bit about that. We talked about the drafts that were happening last week. So we got to go over the results of that. How you guys are building your teams out there. Who are you drafting too high, too low? Things like that. We have to talk about some bets. Got some NBA season bets, y'all. Shout out to Coach Craig, who gave us a little gem. We'll address that later. And stuff that's going on for the show today. We got game 5. How quickly things turn around, right? How crazy is it that things can change? And how close these games have been in the WNBA. We got a game 5 today that's dropping at 5 Pacific Standard Time. where some history is going to be made, man. It's going to be epic. We're going to be talking about more NBA today because, again, it's dropping Tuesday. And since we do this show every Sunday, we don't have a little clip for y'all during the middle of the week. We got to make sure that you guys get as much information as you can to address your week as best as you can as avid consumers of hoops. We're also going to be talking about the stuff that's happening through the sports affiliation. Of course, things that are happening you see dropping on the website. If you follow us on X or your favorite platforms where you can get your information there, what info is going to be happening there. And again, we're going to talk about a lot of fantasy, a lot of bets today as well. So let's go ahead and get that out the way too. And if you guys have a chance, you come on. We got an open forum today. If we got some time left, we'll let you guys address your questions. We'll throw some at you if you come on. We'll be listening to some of that. Some stories that we should be following this week. Got a couple of things going on within the NBA, at least, that sort of raise concerns for us. Some questions that we're probably going to see addressed this week as to how teams will do with or without certain players available, what the season looks like for a couple of these teams, etc. And then we're going to get out of here, man. We're going to enjoy the rest of our Sunday, and I hope you guys do too. So let's get down to it. Okay, so, Lordy Miss Claudia. Okay, WNBA Game 5. We are headed back to New York, y'all. And if you guys don't know how we got here, her story is being made. We opened Game 1 with an overtime game, okay? And don't forget, this how we got there was the most interesting sequence. New York up double digits in the fourth quarter. Minnesota clawing back on what was a 17-1 run. Absolutely insane, put together by Courtney Williams and Afisa Collier and crew on last Sunday. Ended up to where the last sequence of shots for the fourth quarter was a Courtney Williams and 1 3-pointer fouled by Sabrina Ionescu. Okay, she makes the free throw for the Lynx to go up 2. Brianna Stewart gets fouled on the inbound pass. Oh, sorry, to go up 1. Brianna Stewart gets fouled on the inbound pass. You need 2 shots. Stewart needs 2 shots to win the game for New York Liberty for them to take a 1-0 lead. She misses the back end of the 2. Of course, the last second jump shot from Minnesota did not go in, so we go to overtime where Minnesota ends up defeating the Liberty by 2. New York comes back with a vengeance, just absolutely smashes Minnesota at home in New York. They go back to Minnesota. New York says, we don't learn already, and we're a road team too. They come back and they win Game 3. However, Game 4 looked a lot like Game 1, y'all. New York thought they had it in the bag. It was getting close. It was coming back and forth. It was coming down to the wire. Oh, and there was no logo Sabrina, no logo Sabrina Ionescu this time. No. There wasn't none of that happening like it happened in Game 3, which was absolutely insane. No, we had a Game 4, which looked a lot like Game 1. It was a game for the ages. You guys need to go back and watch all 4 games, in fact. I don't care what the result was. That cold shot in Game 3 from Sabrina Ionescu was absolutely insane. But then again, we got another last-second foul. Minnesota wins by 2. Sending this back to New York, Game 5 today. Y'all need to tune in, tap in. I am telling y'all, this. If y'all don't know what's going to be happening in the league, this is the game to be watching to find out what's going to be happening next season, because history is going to be made. Her story is going to be made. You have a team in New York Liberty that has never won the WNBA Finals. Mentioned in the earlier shows, the result of each time that they've gone against a pretty good Western Conference team. From the Houston Comets to the Aces and so on. It's hard to get there. It's starting to look more like the Buffalo Bills for them. Another New York story. Y'all, I'm telling you, this is going to be New York's first championship, and they're trying to win it at home is super important tonight. But for Minnesota, it could be there, and I keep messing this up. I believe it's their 4th. Coach Miller's 4th. Okay? This is the team that went back to back and I believe back to back as WNBA champions, and then won again later on. This is a team that has championship pedigree, championship history, trying to tie the Houston Comets, I believe, for a number of championships won in the league. So there's a little bit of like Lakers Boston building a history there as we talk about that. So when we talk about this league 30 years later, and they're talking about championship banner 18 for one squad versus another squad, like we do Lakers versus Boston, you remember today, okay? Because this could be the game that pushes us into what we could foresee 10, 20, 30 years down the line. Tap in today. Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, Brianna Stewart versus Nafisha Collier, Courtney Williams, and crew. Y'all, it is going down tonight. They're talking about doing the I almost said Harlem Shake. Y'all know what the dance is. We'll get back to that in a minute. And stepping all over New York. Remember, New York defeated the Las Vegas Aces, and when they beat them, they put a Timberland boot on the logo of the Aces on the social media. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Well, we do got some bets and predictions for today. I'm thinking that New York Liberty is going to take the win for today. So I'm taking them money line on that. For you guys that are getting your plus minuses on your respective apps, I don't care what the plus minus is. Personally, I'm taking New York to win this. They've done too much, built too much, learned too much, had too many pitfalls to not win this today. Let me throw this out right now. New York Liberty money line is minus 285. Minnesota Lynx plus 200. Spread right now is 5.5 or 6. Okay, 5.5 or 6, whatever you're taking. I don't like the spread because these games that have been super close have been by less than 3 points. So I think if you get the plus, yeah, you'll probably get the money on there, but I wouldn't chance it because, again, the New York Liberty have bounced back, played a very good defensive game, and put the brakes on the opposing team and had that spread out to double digits. So there's always an outlier for this series. The game 2 was the outlier for this entire series. Otherwise, the other games have been 3 or less. Spread today is 156.5. Small chance this goes over. These game 5s starting to remind me of like the game 7 of Lakers versus Boston. That was a very low scoring affair. You know, players get tight. Some players get nervous. Offense gets stagnant. We've had low scoring halves this entire series. Minus game 1, of course. Game 1 was the only game in which everyone was just playing loose, just trying to figure out their offense. I think everything plays tighter this time around. And what we're going to end up seeing is a low scoring affair. So I'm thinking going the under on that one would be the safer bet. Under right now is minus 120. Over the 156.5 is minus 125. So I'm going to go ahead and put the money line right now today on New York Liberty on a separate bet, of course, picking the under. Throw 5 units on there. Done to that. Okay, and as far as player picks are concerned, I personally use Prize Picks, but you definitely want to get over to that the Better app or wherever you make your bets at. Line up today, and we'll get this posted on X if you're following us on X. WNBA first half. Um, First half points, full game points. I really don't like doing first half personally because one person goes off and you don't have that predictability there, the ability of someone like a Benijah Laney Smith goes off for Benijah Laney Smith, excuse me, goes off for like she went off for 22, 24 points in game two. And you don't, and normally she goes off for 5 or 6. It's like, okay, I bet the under on a 6. And she usually gets 6 for a total for a game. And I wanted that for one of my safe bets for the entire game. Like, how fair is it that you get crushed because she just had a monster game and teams just weren't opting for her, and she ate her Wheaties that morning. So I want to try to get the full benefit of my bet, which gives the full game for that to settle in. Courtney Williams PRA has been 50% for me. Hers is 25.5. She's been around that much. I expect a decent game from her to be contributing today. I'm going to bet the over on her. Kayla McBride, the vet, has been there, done that. She's had some monster games. She's only had one game of where she had an under on her PRA. Line today is 19.5. Again, players are going to be tight. She might not be one of those. I'm looking for vets to kind of get the over on those. One of them that has been a head scratcher for me, Sabrina Ionescu. For all intents and purposes, for every single game except for the last one, her unders have hit. And it's not for lack of trying, but in the fourth quarter, it's almost like her ability to shoot just evaporates. She scores. She had 3 straight trips to the basket on layups for game 4. Sabrina Ionescu did. So she can score. She has the ability to find places where to score. It's just that where they need her to score, where she's typically scoring from, that logo Ionescu just kind of leaves. And that heavily contributes to her ability to get the over on her line. At 27.5, I'm going with I hate it because we're playing statistics here, but I'm going with the under on that one. And lastly, Stewie. I'm just gonna go straight up points. They're gonna need them all from her today. 20.5 is the line. Again, on games where they've lost, Brianna's hit at or under 21. And I'm picking New York to win today. So in the games that they have won, she's hit the under. So 18 in the loss, 11 in the loss. She knows what's on the line. This is her game. I'm picking the over on her. So again, if you're following me on X, following us here, we'll go ahead and post this later under the video, under the respective accounts. It's the more on Courtney Williams, 25.5 PRA, more on Kayla McBride, 19.5. The under on Sabrina Ionescu, 27.5 PRA, and then points taking Stewie to eclipse that mark in a W today for the New York Liberty. Gonna do the flex play because I like that little safety net there. Net a little chump change today for some gas money or maybe an ice cream for my baby. And that'll wrap it up for our WNBA talk. If you guys have anything to add, make sure to reach out in the comments right now. Or if you got something to add later, make sure to follow us again. Follow the sportsaffiliation.com. Follow me at 4F Apollo on X. And you can also check in here on YouTube. We can watch this back later before the game tips off at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Again, Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. We're excited to watch that. And if you guys are just tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Again, it's the TSH Hoop Show with your boy JR. Good morning, everybody. Okay. More meat. Got something to chew on today. NBA season is right around the corner. It's like no, I'm not supposed to say it. I was gonna say something with pumpkin spice lattes in October, but we gonna save that. Um, yeah. Man, final rosters are being made, and it's absolutely crazy where how this rookie class has been absolutely quiet this year. And I think it's mainly because it hasn't been. There's been a weird media press behind this year's draft class. Victor Wembanyama essentially stole the show last year from draft day all the way on through the season, mainly because of his height and his ability at that height. Zachary Ricochet of the Atlanta Hawks was the pick this year, and I mean, for all intents and purposes, he has not played much and not shown much. And I think it's, again, there's some players that you could see were drafted for a specific reason as the like, anti-Victor Wembanyama. Every team in every league does that. They get the one premier draft guy, and they're like, okay, how do we beat that team with that guy? How do we build against that? So that way, when we go up against that, we can show that, oh, you guys might have drafted him for this, but as far as what the rest is concerned, we don't care. We don't care. We built around our own player, and we built it better than you did. But there has been no standout rookie that was a lottery pick. I'll say that. Then you get on down to the other picks. Of course, you got the teams that are in the spotlight: the Bostons, the Lakers, the Phillies, et cetera, et cetera. The big name teams that had their rookies. I know that Philly lost one of their rookies to a concussion. Shout out to McCain. Hopefully he recovers from that and he's able to start the season. That's the kid that you saw doing that they were talking about painting his nails and doing TikToks and stuff like that. But whatever, if the kid can shoot, who cares? Of course, there's a host, the LeBron James Jr. Following Danny Connect. They're trying to figure out. Allegedly, Snoop Dogg gave him the new name Westside Connect, which I think goes almost as hard as Connect 4, because if you start doing and 1 3-pointers, then Connect 4 has got to be your name for the rest of your playing career forever. So players like that have been in the news or in my feed, but there are some rookies where, and I'll get to some of these guys later, where I think they're going to be doing a little bit better this season just because of what's surrounding them. One of the players that I'm thinking about right now is Reed Shepherd, who's going to essentially try to be Houston's sharpshooter this year, and he's a pretty good 3-and-D guy. He's going to have some great talent around him at his position. He's going to be playing some shooting guard, some point guard this season, and I think that he'll do pretty well as far as getting right into that starting rotation. His youth, his length, his ability to score are all what Houston need in Ime Udoka's second year. And in fact, I'm mentioning that because we got our power rankings coming out, and the health and how Houston finished and how they started. There was a middle of the road part of the season where they just completely went flatline. But how they finished their season and how they started their season makes me think that this team is actually better than what we had predicted the record to be for this season. We predicted that they will regress as far as their record would be concerned, because again, the West got tighter, the West got healthier, so that could throw a lot of things off. You have to steal a lot of games from teams not in the West in order to improve that record that they had at 42-42. Sorry, 41-41. But all intents and purposes, I think Houston is going to be one of those teams to watch. Reed Shepherd's going to be one of those teams to watch. Final rosters are being made, and it'll be interesting to see who makes those final rosters on their respective team and who gets designated to their G League affiliates. So a question for y'all. You guys are out there. You got your teams ready to go. I know you guys are excited and ready for the season to start, but what games are you guys watching this week? We have in our post about the games that are happening this season on the sportsaffiliation.com, and we'll go ahead and drop that in a little bit. Just on what games we're looking for overall, but as far as this week, I know personally you see the hat, you see the logo. Lakers are starting against Minnesota this week. In fact, Lakers are going to be at home opening night, Minnesota versus Lakers coming in. It's going to be super exciting because Minnesota's got this new squad with Dante DiVincenzo added and Julius Randle. Julius Randle again comes back in another uniform to Los Angeles, and I'm sure he's gotten over that like a long time ago because he went over to New York. He's made a home over there. He's continued to grow his family. He's matured as a player. He's coming off of a season that ended earlier than he wanted it to, an injury. He definitely wanted to be part of that New York playoffs team that went pretty deep into the playoffs. But now he gets to come to a Minnesota team that was the Western Conference Final representative. And it's going to be a different look because now, at least for Minnesota, they got Anthony Edwards, who's coming off an Olympic gold medal season. DiVincenzo, who's got the fire and brimstone off of being traded to Minnesota. You got a returning team that's going to be a little bit more defensively sound, and they're going to be playing a Los Angeles Lakers team whom I believe they're going to tout the few minutes of LeBron James Jr. and LeBron James playing together. This is probably not going to be as good of a night for the Lakers basketball wise, although they are looking a little bit more cohesive as a team. But we'll see. Predictions for that game, I think it's going to be 8-point win by Minnesota against the Los Angeles Lakers. I know that's faux pas for someone that is a Lakers fan, but again, I am a hoops fan first, and I got to be a little bit more of a realist. So, but still excited to see that game just for the history of it. And don't forget, we also got earlier that night, New York versus Boston, which is going to be a barn burner. We talked about both of these teams to start the season last year. Boston was one of those teams that was predicted to be in the NBA Finals, went there, won it, right? Players that did or did not get represented in the Olympics. Been talking about them for the last month and a half, okay? Has been in and out of the mouths of analysts on NBA TV, NBA radio, Sirius XM, et cetera, so on and so forth. This team, they just won the NBA Finals, okay? They sort of had an offseason, but not really, and now they're coming back for more against a team in the New York Knicks that made two significant trades this offseason. One to acquire Mikal Bridges, one to acquire Karl Anthony Towns. Everyone believes that they are, although top-heavy, a team that is favored to dethrone the Boston Celtics. Not win the NBA Finals, okay? Just favored to dethrone the Boston Celtics. Well, personally, I believe the Big Bodega and Company, as they're calling Cat, have the ability on paper with Tom Thibodeau at the helm to give a challenge to the Boston Celtics. I think it's way too early to say that. This is at home in Boston. Yeah, they're going to get the ring. It's going to be a huge night. A couple of guys on that squad are going to be hungry, but I don't think it's going to be as close of a win. It's going to look a little bit different. Everyone's just getting their legs under them. It's first game. It's fresh. In fact, line for that game, let's just go ahead and talk about that right now. Let's head on over to where we need to, and let's see NBA in Boston. Spread right now is 5.5. Total for that game is 22.5. Boston Celtics coming at minus 215 on the money line for that. So again, 5.5, I believe is going to be a bigger spread than that. If putting something on that game, I believe that the Celtics are going to take it money line straight up. And I think it's going to be an exciting game to watch. I think that what we're going to see is we're going to see some sparks. We're going to see some flashes of what's to come, but it's going to be a little bit more of a teaser tester game because it's the first game of an 82 game season. They're already proposing shortening the season, y'all. I don't know if you guys have been tapped in this summer, or if you guys have been tuning in to analysts, to GMs talk. They're talking about shortening the season for the health and benefit of the players and to try to have less rest games so that way you see more players for the season. It's a discussion for later, but that's something that's come about as well. Let's see, where else are we? So we got those two games that are opening on Tuesday. Again, Boston Celtics opening the earlier game at 4 Pacific Standard Time. Lakers and Minnesota, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. And now, and then we got some games this week. We got to talk about a couple of games this week that I'm looking forward to. Games this week, like we got Milwaukee going to Philly. Philly opening their season on Wednesday night at home, and we're talking about additions to squads. Milwaukee didn't do much, but Philly did some absolute work in getting that Paul George trade, and not only that, they acquired what's his name from Miami, a team that at that point where it was only Tyrese Maxey being 100% healthy and Joel Embiid on one leg trying to score 50 to try to beat a New York Knicks team in the playoffs. You have a maybe healthy Embiid. We're not sure. Apparently, it's been put out there that Embiid is playing no back-to-back games this season. Thanks to the addition of Paul George, that the goal for Philadelphia is not just to get to the playoffs, but get Embiid 100% healthy to the playoffs. And I'm not a fan of saying that playing him less or sitting him in back-to-back games is going to be 100% healthier for him. I think that, and I say this personally, on those days where you have a lot of pain from the workouts that you did the day before, and you get that day after or day 2 soreness, getting some type of dynamic movement, stretching, has 100% more better benefit for your body than it does going hot, running it into the ground one day, then going cold the next day, then running hot the next day. I think that pattern has much more of a recipe for disaster. I mean, you're looking all over the league at players that have been rested and then play another game and then rest a couple games and then play another couple games. And the success of their health has not been as good as players that have played a little bit in each games where they've been expected to rest and then just have a more minutes restriction on them. And they've been able to last those 60, 70 games out there. And they get Milwaukee, who's trying to prove that now with Doc Rivers in his first full season as Milwaukee's coach, that they can actually, that for all intents and purposes, they can actually take this team and play a little bit better defense and not just be a high-scoring team and actually get further in the playoffs than the opening round. They got something to prove, and I don't think Philly has it. So that's going to be an exciting game to watch. Another game that week is going to be Phoenix at the Clippers. And we just got word that we're going to have no Kawhi for opening night. We're probably not going to have Kawhi for the first month. He's nursing some lower leg injuries, and it's just absolutely crazy for me to think that we've been talking about this guy, and he went from Olympic selection to injury designation to possibly making opening night to now we might not see him until the end of November is actually what we're talking about. a guy that they just gave the bag to, said, we'll do you, Harden, and some pieces, let PG go, re-up Tyronn Lue, and they said, this is what we're going with, and now they won't even have a third of that? That's absolutely mind-blowing, and this team can do no right. I have absolutely no idea what's going on with that, because they have a team coming in, a very hot Phoenix team, offensively, top heavy, that just added a point guard. Okay, they finally have a point guard, and they changed. I don't understand why they canned Frank Vogel after one season. I don't know why it was okay. Now we added a true point guard, got Trey over from Washington Wizards, or I'm sorry, not Trey, Tyus Jones from Washington. Got the point guard that Vogel was asking for. Now Budenholzer has it. Budenholzer is he's a champion. He coached up the Bucks. How is the Phoenix gonna respond to all the additions and the changes? First game in, I believe that Phoenix is gonna come with that fire, but we don't know, because we've seen a Kawhi-less, a superstarless Clippers team absolutely bulldoze some teams, play some defense, play more together, listen to the coaching of Tyronn Lue, and win some games. So it's just which team are we going to see from each team? I think that Phoenix comes out with a win on that one, but it's definitely got to be a game for you guys to watch, not only because it is a Western Conference game, not only because it is one of the teams that's in the media right now, but it's also, this is super important, this is a divisional game, okay? And these games are starting to matter a lot more. Outside of the in-season tournament that's coming up, outside of anything overall playoffs is concerned, the seeding is super important, because, again, if you want to talk about how seeding is not important, don't forget that people were talking about the Los Angeles Lakers trying to avoid a Denver Nuggets team so that way they wouldn't get swept, because they got swept beforehand by that same team. And so if we're talking about jockeying for a position, now you wonder if it's super important for teams to try to avoid other teams so that way they can go longer in the playoffs. A la Philadelphia 76ers. We got some more stuff coming up, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here for a word from our sponsor. See y'all in 30 seconds.
Here we go.
Yeah, we definitely got to get that updated. I keep saying that every week. We got to get that updated. We got to get the commercial updated. For you guys that'll be tuning in later for our audio-only version of the Hoops show, the commercial features the football version of the Drafters app for the best ball bets. They now have a Hoops one going, so if you follow them on X, or if you're on their app, hit that NBA best ball edition turning there, and we like to get that up here for the Hoop show, so that way we keep it 100 with hoops. But moving on, we got a lot of sports affiliation stuff to look forward to today and this week, y'all. So let's kind of work backwards. Again, we ended last week talking about, we ended the show on a draft that happened that morning. Okay, so let me go ahead and run down some results from that draft for you guys. There's some players that I picked up, and then you can go ahead and talk about these guys later on. But in the AM draft, Ball So Hard League, started by one of the guys that I had that I connect with on X. Squad consists of, and these are some of the top picks: SGA, Brunson, Jaylen Brown at guards, bigs, Cat at the forward position, Hartenstein as a backup. Of course, he's out right now, so we're gonna have to swap that out. I talked about Tyus Jones just getting added to Phoenix. He's gonna be thrown into the lineup to start out with. I think it'll be one of the good pickups. And let's talk about some rookies, okay? Zach Edey, all right, picked him up. He's their rookie in Memphis. He's been getting some playing time there, and I think that in his in his debut, I think when he comes out this season, that he's going to be doing some damage there alongside Triple J at the big man position. He's got some post moves, y'all. I'm thinking that he'll be a nice, solid stash for the season. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. But that's oh, someone just added Dalton Connect in this league. You big-headed sucker, man. You saw him go off in the preseason. You saw the same thing I saw. Y'all go get Dalton Connect, y'all. He's gonna be that other cold shooter on the Lakers squad. Okay, he might not average any more than about 10 points a game as if he gets into the regular rotation. The rotation at the guard position is pretty heavy, but I think that he gets in there. He does some stuff on that second unit. Interesting ads. I got on auto draft Harrison Barnes, who again is no longer in Sacramento and moved over to San Antonio. He's going to be joining Chris Paul, the other veteran on that team, with Victor Wembanyama. And so far, it's been working out pretty good. Barnes has been good for that glue, a good 10 to 12 guy, a couple of rebounds here, second unit guy. I think it might be a strong backup pickup for somewhere in the middle of the season when other guys are getting their rests or trying to figure out what their moves are for that team. He'll be, I think, a regular presence on that team. Jaime Jaquez of Miami Heat. I'm expecting that man to have a bounce back season after his inaugural season where he just kind of torched the league and took off at the position when they were playing some sort of small ball and he played that power forward center position. They got this man listed on Sleepers app at 5 positions. 5 positions. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you say, oh, yeah. How y'all doing? My name is Jaime Jaquez. Bienvenidos. I play the small forward position. No, you don't. And you show up and coach tells you you're playing 5 positions this season, cuz or maybe that's just the thing in the sleeper app, who knows. But that's one guy I'm looking for a bounce back year. Another guy I'm looking for a bounce back year this season is Brandon Miller, Charlotte Hornets. Year 2. Year 3. Number 2 overall draft pick. Guy's gonna be absolutely amazing. He was killing it in the league last year, man. Like absolutely statistically killing it. He was a steal if you ended up picking him up as a rookie, man. And it was it was even more surprising how much more he improved with the absence of LaMelo Ball, who's coming back to be healthy this year. It's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back in this second year, because Charlotte, outside of not having a lot of veteran leadership in their lineup, their other big issue was the fact that half of that team was just injured or out. So if you guys picked up anyone from Charlotte, it might be a bounce back here for some of those players. Shout out to y'all. In our other league, Sports Affiliation League, very awkward time. A lot of people are auto drafted, but auto drafted some pretty good teams. Actually going up against a guy who's got a second year guy who I think is going to have a really huge year for Detroit, Cade Cunningham. Cam Thomas, who seems to come on again, come off again. This is the players that I'm going up against again. And this guy that I'm going up against actually just picked up Dalton Connect. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. And he's also featuring Zachary Ricochet, who's on his bench. And again, I don't know how this kid is going to play because we've been seeing glimpses of him throughout the preseason and not much been talked about him in the media. And again, there's been full media focus on the superstar stuff of Bronny James, but statistically, Ricochet has kind of been there. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this season with Trey now back at the helm fully with DeJounte Murray going over to New Orleans. But some of the guys I picked up this season, of course, got the Joker because he kind of fell to me. Thank goodness for that. And we're going to kind of talk about the importance of, and this is going to be featured in Tuesday's piece for fantasy power rankings for players, the importance of drafting big man, because at the top there at some of our rankings, there are not a lot of big men there. I got to flip where Anthony Davis is at, because Anthony Davis had a really good preseason. He looked absolutely healthy. He looked a lot like his ending season form from last season. He looked a lot like Olympic, a little bit better than Olympic Anthony Davis, which is saying a lot. But big men are not, there are not a lot of big men that you can get. And if you had an opportunity to get the 1 through 5 position in your respective drafts, I hope that the first thing that you did was either get the one of the 3 MVP candidates or the MVP from last year. If you got one of those 3 guys, cool. If you didn't do that, you had to get a big man. Had to. And I hope one of them wasn't Joel Embiid, because we don't know how many games that guy's going to play this season. But big men, Nikola Jokic is absolutely important. Again, we don't know the health of what Jamal Murray is going to be like this season with the hamstring issues and everything like that. But this team starts and finishes with that man. Some other notable pickups. Talked about Reed Shepherd earlier. KCP that just went over to an Orlando team that was in desperate need for 3-point shooting and for veteran leadership and for defense, more defense. Again, these guys were holding opponents to under 95, I believe it was last season, and he definitely is going to help that out on the 3-point line and improve their 3-point shooting. Hopefully, give them a couple of ticks up so that way they can start to get into that low 100s scoring range. One of the biggest issues with it, they just weren't scoring enough against teams last season, which is why you saw them get into the second round, but then or get into the playoffs, but then just ultimately not have the juice to finish it out. Jaden Ivey's another guy that's been talked about having another second year, but somehow I also want to mention this. Even with the addition of Isaiah Hartenstein to the Oklahoma City Thunder, I went out and got Chet Holmgren. And I got Chet Holmgren because I think that guy's on a tear to show why he's the better big man between him and Victor Wembanyama, who those two have been pitted against each other. And I think that having Hartenstein, if they decide to go for a Twin Towers lineup with Hartenstein at the center position, it'll allow Holmgren to play that power forward position, to allow him to score a lot more and not have to worry so much about rebounding or anything else like that, or defending. We've seen a lot of positive things happen for good big men when they have another big guy to take care of the other half of the work, which is defense and rebounding. And I think that that's going to be a plus for a guy like Chet Holmgren. We'll see how that works out, because Hartenstein is listed as day-to-day. He's not officially in the lineup for this week, so we'll see how that works out. So that was some of the results of our drafts, and we'll be talking about that as we start to bring people on. We'll have clips for this week. We'll have posts up on the sportsaffiliation.com about feature teams, feature games, et cetera, et cetera. We will get to all that as the week progresses. You guys just make sure to subscribe. You enter your email address on the sportsaffiliation.com so we can get that information out to you. We got our weekly newsletter that comes out every week by @JC Money Design. He will be posting that. He will be sending that out to those that are connected and following him on X, so that way you guys know what's up during the week. You click on that, you get to the website, boom, it gives you links straight to our articles, and one of them is going to be featured is our Hoops articles of the week. It's going to be absolutely insane. You know that what we also like to do is we talked about this earlier in the show today. We got our Fliff, we got our Prize Picks. You guys got your Betters app. You guys got your apps out there. We love to give our bets for either the day of the week. Shout out to Coach Craig, who will be featuring his stuff for day-to-day basis, for fantasy stuff, for daily fantasy bets as well. Hit the post it up for us in our group chat. There's a free $20 NBA season bet on Prize Picks today, y'all. So y'all need to get over there and make your season bet picks. We're going to be posting up some of those. Been talking about some of those in our previous shows. You guys need to make sure to get your app open. Get over there to Prize Picks. Free $20 bet for the season. Some of the bets that we like, some of the bets that we talked about for this week for season. And again, this is for the entire season. So we're talking about season averages. I went over there and I decided, let's go ahead and do something with that. Bam Adebayo, 10 rebounds per game average. Again, these guys they haven't gotten larger. They haven't gotten taller. I like the over on that one. One of the things that I decided to do was say that he has the ability to do big things rebounding. Just went through the whole spiel about what you can do when when you have a second big man there, as far as worrying about the rebounding and defending. Well, Bam Adebayo believes that he should have been Defensive Player of the Year. He also does a lot of the garbage work for Miami. He is their big man. Miami's been very successful with not super tall, super big men outside of Shaquille O'Neal. Okay? You guys can talk about Hassan Whiteside all you want. But in between Shaq and Bam, there haven't been a lot of tall big men in the middle. Bam Adebayo, 10 rebounds a game. I think that he can average that for the season. He just has to stay healthy. That's all it's got to happen. There's some triple-double watches out there. I put the over on Anthony Davis simply because I think that he's going to end up playing enough games with some small additions and the return of some players that are going to be able to shoot the open jump shots. I put the over on him having a triple-double game. Hopefully, there's a lot of hope because, again, this is betting. I put the over on it because I think that he has a chance out of those 82 games to get one. That's all you need is one. It talks about the ability of Alperen Şengün. Coach put that up in the chat. His ability to get triple doubles. He got 2 out of the 82 games last year on Houston. Again, that team's getting healthier. It's getting better. There's a high chance that because they're putting a lot of the offense through Şengün on the Houston Rockets, that he does get those 2. The line's at 1.5. He bet the over on that. I did not write that, but I am putting that out there in case you guys want to consider it. One other bet that I'm looking at, Anthony Edwards, 27.3 points per game. I'm putting a lot of faith in what the Olympics, what FIBA, what this past season, what all the experience combined over the last 28 months, I want to say. That's about 2 seasons and 2 off seasons worth of play of straight hoops from the kid from Georgia, okay? Has done for this kid. Young man. I think that his point total improves. I think the offense is going to flow a lot better with it being focused more on him, not having to worry about sharing the ball between him and Cat. I know that DiVincenzo's been there. It's going to be a 3-point threat, 3D threat. I know Julius Randle is there. He's going to be one of those guys that plays a lot downhill. But I think that with Randle is going to be more of a bucket guy down below, going to be more of that garbage guy. They're going to defer to him for some PNR stuff. Let's pick and roll for those of you guys that don't know what that means. I think that it's Anthony Edwards' chance to shine, possibly even chase a scoring title this year. I think that that 27.3 is within his ability to. Even with any possible missed games there, I think that he will be able to get the over on 27.3 this season. So don't forget, that's free $20 bet there on prizepicks.com. We already talked about the games that we're looking for this week. Power rankings dropping tomorrow. Let's give you guys a little preview. See if we can go ahead and share this here. All right, let's go ahead and get this up here. I'm not going to give you guys my reasons yet. That you guys can look for the reasons when the article posts on the sportsaffiliation.com tomorrow. Going to be dropping a little bit later in the evening, so you guys know who I think the best teams are. But either 1 through 30 this week as of today, all teams are 0-0, all of them. Okay, but top 10 right now, Yes, I put the Lakers at the top 10 because all teams are 0-0 right now, and everyone's been putting us in the media, and I think that's going to help us a lot. Of course, things will change as these games get played. And I don't know if you can tell, but you see Houston right here, right on the top half of the league. Again, they've been playing lights out as far as preseason is concerned. The coaches have their teams ready. Their rookie has been absolutely phenomenal. They're improving and they're looking a lot more like they're going to be starting up the season hot, a lot like they did last season. So you'll probably see Houston jumping up in this area, the 7-8 position as the week goes on, but we will see. That's just a quick preview. And if you guys have any issue about it, you know where to find me. You know how to at me. You know where to talk about it. And don't forget to leave some comments on our posts at thesportsaffiliation.com. We love reading those. We love responding to them, and we love getting out at them. Since I don't have anyone available this morning for the show, comments are dry this morning. We got 3 minutes to go back over and address anything for this week. There's one thing that I am extremely worried about, and I talked about it a little bit earlier. Kawhi Leonard. Between Kawhi Leonard and Joel Embiid, I don't know which organization has it worse off. Every single season, the Clippers do something that is correct on paper. And when they put the formula into practice, it seems to fall off the tracks. Every season since well before Steve Ballmer took over the team. I'm talking pre-Lob City. No, I'm talking Lob City to today. Lob City, which is what, 2011, 2010? That's 14 years, okay, of thinking they got it right and having one misstep, just one, to cancel out all that hard work. And I don't know as an organization if they're cursed, but they're starting to remind me a little bit of like Bloody Sox, Boston Red Sox. I'm thinking of teams that have gotten to the sort of the mecca without an actual championship. New York Liberty, we talked about them earlier in the segment. The Buffalo Bills, okay, that's a 30 for 30 up there. If you guys don't know about that, you go find 30 for 30 Buffalo Bills. Number of NFL championship games that they went to that they didn't win. It's a span of I think they made the right decision in letting Paul George go because this is a make it or break it season for the Clippers. They know that they want Tyronn Lue at the helm. They know what he wants to coach. I think that they know that he is looking to see if he has the correct personnel to complete this or not. They would continue to be this sort of like middling team that they were from last season. Like they got the 4th seed last year with an on again, off again Kawhi Leonard, on again, off again James Harden, but a consistent season-wise Paul George. And I just don't think that they wanted to be that team. I think that they wanted to put a nail into going one direction or the other this season. And that the player in Kawhi Leonard concerns me because if you're and this can go on as a discussion in other segments as far as players that get continually injured and you want them to hang it up, not just in this sport, but like NFL, NHL, baseball. They're talking about trying to retire Tua for all the concussions. I'm thinking about retiring Kawhi Leonard because his legs just aren't doing it for him anymore. And I would not want to see Kawhi out the league because Kawhi in the league makes the league better. Kawhi as a player is a great player. I would never take that away from him. But the ability of a team to depend on him as a player is absolute fool's gold at this point. I believe if you're unable to show up to work and you get paid as if you're a full-time employee, you're stealing money. And the Clippers are giving it away. And in Philadelphia, it's the same thing. If your goal is to try to maintain the health of one particular employee by utilizing and moving around pieces and scheduling guys to make sure that that one employee gets you to not just the playoffs, but to go through the entire playoffs, however long that lasts, I think that you need a better plan than planning around one employee. And I know that from experience of working retail. I'm telling you guys that doesn't work. I'm hoping the best for both franchises because there's probably a lot of M's riding for both teams this season. It's a lot of money invested in both teams. But I saw how Joel Embiid started the Olympics. I saw how slow he was moving. I know what a regular season Paul George looks like versus playoff P. We all know who that guy is because we talked about him last season. I don't think that these franchises have 100% of what it's going to take right now to get them moving in the right direction. They may have to change GMs. They may have to change FOC. It's plural for focus for those of you word nerds out of there. For getting their guys and their teams moving forward. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to listen to us later. And I appreciate you guys for listening to us this far. It is time for us to get out of here. That is the hour. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys doing what you do, which is tuning in here, giving us a thumbs up. Don't forget to like and subscribe this whole entire channel. You guys have football to watch later today. I got a 2-year-old to go entertain right now. I love you guys. Drink coffee, drink your mimosas. Cheers to you. We are out. See you next Sunday.